Oh, welcome back. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit more, dive into reels and one particular aspect of it, drag. So let's have you look at my new trailer for our channel. Well, that's what you do when there's no internet, snowing outside, and blah, blah, blah. You make animation. So, yeah, that was all animated by me. So, I don't know. I actually did quite a few little plugs, and you'll see them over time. If you subscribe to, if you actually look at my Facebook page, you'll actually see them. So, all right, so we are going to talk about, the last video, and it's been very, very well received, is one on bait casting, understanding bait casting. Well, today we're going to understand an aspect of reels called drag. I know. It's amazing. As children and as people who start fishing and they're new at it, they start with spinning reel. And they see this thing right here. and it clicks when you turn it. And it's like, wow. And then when you get a bait caster, you have this thing called a star wheel right here. And it also clicks when you turn it. Wow. In both these cases, these are probably two of the most important adjustments to have on your reel when you go fishing. These adjust the drag. All right, so first of all, what is drag? Drag allows line to leave your reel, without adjusting this. It actually makes, well, does exactly that. Why do you need line to leave your reel when you're trying to reel in a fish? Well, let's look at this one. This is I use this for ultralight when I need to. And this has 4-pound test on it. Now, this particular reel has, I think, a 12-pound drag on it. So, if I was to tighten this baby, and I got 4-pound test, and I get 12-pound drag, what's going to happen? That's right. And my line is going to break. That is where people usually make a mistake on drag. When I make a mistake on drag, I usually will get a snag, and I'll tighten my drag, and I'm just working it, trying to get it out. And then, the brilliant fisherman that I am, I forget to loosen it. So, when I catch a fish, I break my line. I know. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. And I know as soon as it happens where I went wrong. So, a lot of people, when it comes to freshwater fishing, okay, freshwater fishing, how much drag do you need? Well, you probably don't need more than 8, 9, 10 pounds of drag. You really don't. But some brands, they have 25 pounds, 35 pounds. Now, those 35-pound drags, they're really for saltwater fishing. They're really not for freshwater fishing. I mean, there are some big freshwater fish. If you're going sturgeon fishing or something like that, monsters out into the lake, you'll need a bigger drag. But what a drag allows you to do, it allows you to fight the fish without breaking your line. And that's what it's designed to do. It allows the fish to take line and then you to pull it back in. And you'll take more line and you pull it back in. So to be honest, I usually set my drag at about 5 pounds, depending on my rod setup. And the crazy thing is about drag, there really is no markings on it. There really is no markings on it. And that's a bother, in my opinion. I mean, you don't know if this is set to 20 pounds, 5 pounds, 12 pounds. You don't know. So typically, I just pull my line out and feel the tension on it. And then I can set my drag on feel, because that's really what you're doing. You really don't want your line to break, all right? So you're going to set your drag light. And then, nice thing, this is a great thing about a bait caster. While you're reeling it in, I can just go ahead and just hold my thumb or finger on this. And while I'm reeling it in, just touch it and then tighten it. So and you've got your thumb. So you've got your thumb to tighten your line. You've got your finger on the drag all the time. This is a big advantage to a bait caster. This guy. You're doing this. Then you have to stop reeling to tighten your drag. Stop, tighten. When you stop reeling, that's when slack happens. So you really do not have, for a spinning reel, the ability to adjust drag on the fly. You just don't. Without endangering the ability to land that fish. With this, you got 2 ways of adjusting your drag. Your thumb, physically, and your finger when you're reeling. And you just touch it every once in a while. So, when I'm reeling this baby in, I could just hit that thing and just adjust it 1 click at a time. And I like hearing the click. I really do on a drag adjust knot, because when I'm reeling it, I can hear how many clicks I'm actually popping it in and tightening it. So with a bait caster, I always set my drag very, very light for the most part. My drag is usually set 2 or 3 or 4 pounds, and depending on, I might go 5 or 6 pounds, depending on the weight and, the power of my rod and the line that I'm using. But I love letting a fish run. And when you let a fish run, it's more exciting. But you got to keep that line tight. So drag allows you to keep the line tight while he goes ahead and rolls on you and turns on you, and you're doing this, and then he'll take it out, and then you're just continuing doing this, and he's taking it out, but you're pulling it in. That's what drag does. Drag is fun. But on a bait caster, you can adjust it on a fly. And on a spinning reel, it's way up here. It's way up there. It's a bother. So, again, the only time I actually break line is when I got a snag, and I do it on purpose. Or I forget to loosen my drag after a snag, and I break my line. So remember, when it comes to your drag, always go light. You can tighten it while you're reeling it in, unless you're doing a spinning reel. All right, unless you're doing a spinning reel, and you just want to be able. Another thing about a spinning reel, we talked about gear ratio in understanding bait casters. You're dealing with a 5 or a 6 to 1 gear ratio on this. So you can only bring them in so fast. you're doing this, and you're hearing zzz, zzz, zzz. He's pulling it. Zzz. Okay. All right. And you're just trying to keep up with him pulling out your line. If that happens, you're just going to have to do it. Do it on the fly. Just keep going and hope that moment in time, he doesn't spit out your hook. It's just, you got to have a hand on the rod. You got to have a hand on the handle. We don't have a third hand. Okay, we just go, honey, can you turn that dial just a couple clicks? Yeah. Bait casters. You wonder why we like bait casters. There's a lot of them. A lot of us, when you go this route, it's hard to go back. Because it's a one-handed operation. That's what this is. It's a one-handed operation. You're casting, you're not flipping a bail on it, anything. And then you can catch more fish with a bait caster because of drag and the ability of adjusting your drag while you're reeling in without interruption. You lose more fish this way. You get more fish this way. So if you have, I'll put down on, I'm doing this because up there I'll put a little card on understanding bait casters. And for 20 minutes or so in that video, you will learn everything you need to know about bait casters. But I also cover gear ratios in it. And if you ever want to try a bait caster and learn it, then watch that video. It's a really good video. It's one of the best I've ever made. So I want you guys to check that out. Remember, with drag, more is not necessary. You always go soft, and then you adjust on the fly. All right? With bait casters, it's so easy to do. With a spinning reel, you're really much grabbing the medium, right in the middle, and then you're just trying to keep up with the pull. You're just trying to keep up because you don't want to stop reeling in. If you do that, you may lose your fish. So anyway, I hope this helps you about drag. I know it's a drag to talk about it. It is a fun thing to utilize. When you hear that fish, that's a lot of fun. Drag clickers, by the way, aren't real popular with bait casters. This one doesn't really have when the reel starts to do the drag, it doesn't do it, but the drag adjustment does. So some of my reels do. So it's kind of fun. It's fun to hear. It just adds a sound effect to the fight. So anyway, I'm going to end this with Maddie and Tay because I really like Maddie and Tay. But where are they? Where did I put them? There it is. And we will see you guys in the next video. We'll go over continuing pieces of a reel. And we'll see if we can't get you guys more comfortable with bait casting and why we like it. And then also how to catch more fish. Remember, drag is a key element to catching a fish without breaking our line. So set your drag to let the fish take line. You want them to take less line than you reel in. That is the end result, right? Take care, everybody.
All you do, shut up and